Who's the person you barely knew but will never forget? I was 16 when this happened, and honestly, I barely noticed her before that day. She always wore this faded purple hoodie with a hole near the left pocket and kept her hair in this messy braid that looked like she did it while running to catch the bus. We never talked, maybe said excuse me once when she dropped her books by my locker. My little brother Jake was in 6th grade but ate lunch with me every day because he has autism and gets overwhelmed in crowded spaces. The cafeteria was always chaos, kids throwing food, screaming about test scores, the usual high school madness. Jake would sit next to me, carefully eating his sandwich in the exact same order every single day. Crust first, then the middle, then he'd drink his apple juice in 3 specific sips. That Tuesday started normal. Jake was doing his sandwich routine while I complained about my chemistry teacher giving us a pop quiz. The girl in the purple hoodie was sitting 2 tables over, picking out a bag of chips and reading some beat-up paperback book. I remember thinking she looked tired, like she'd been up all night. Then Jake started choking. Not the dramatic movie kind where someone grabs their throat and falls over. He just stopped mid-bite, his eyes got wide, and this awful wheezing sound came out. I looked over and his face was turning this horrible purple color. "Jake! Jake!" I screamed, but I completely froze. My brain just shut down. Everyone around us stopped eating and stared, but nobody moved. The lunch monitor was clear across the room dealing with some food fight. That's when Purple Hoodie Girl appeared. She didn't run exactly, more like this focused speed walk, shoving past people without saying a word. She got behind Jake and wrapped her arms around him before I even processed what was happening. One hard push up into his ribs. Nothing. Another one, harder this time. And I heard this awful grunt from Jake. The third push, and suddenly Jake was coughing and spitting up pieces of sandwich all over the table. He was crying and breathing and alive, and Purple Hoodie Girl just calmly sat him back down and rubbed his back like she did this every day. "You're okay now," she said quietly to Jake. "Just breathe slow, like this." She showed him these exaggerated breathing motions, and Jake copied her perfectly. The whole thing took maybe 30 seconds. By the time the lunch monitor finally rushed over, Purple Hoodie Girl was already walking away, stuffing her book back in her bag. "Wait," I called after her, but she disappeared into the hallway crowd like she was never there. I spent the rest of that day trying to figure out who she was. Asked around, described the purple hoodie and messy braid. Nobody knew her name. Some kid in my English class thought she might be new, maybe a transfer student, but nobody had any real information. 2 weeks later, I finally worked up the courage to ask the guidance counselor about her. I felt stupid describing someone by their clothes, but Mr. Patterson listened and checked his files. "Oh, you mean Elena Vasquez," he said. "She transferred to Pine Ridge High last week. Family moved across town." My stomach dropped. She was gone. The person who saved my brother's life had vanished before I could even say thank you. Another full story linked below.